Hi, dear friends and subscribers. Hi, good evening, a very good evening. Before we start this program, I just want to ask you to please subscribe to this channel. This is a new channel. Um, it's Mike, unlike others. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, leave a comment, please. Share the videos. Um, and of course, hit the notification bell so that when I upload new videos, you will access them right away. Um, and I appreciate that. So thank you for that. So like, share, leave a comment. It's very important for the channel to grow. It's important that as a new channel, that you help us out, and we appreciate it. Like, leave a comment, share the videos, and of course, in order to do all of that, in order to get new videos, to get as soon as we upload them, is we ask that you hit the notification bell. With that little bit of business out of the way, one of the best ways for this conversation and these articles, these videos to get the proper push from Google, YouTube. I mean, the it's important that you engage. So yeah, we appreciate all of the views on the channel, but on the videos and on the channel overall. But we also appreciate when you leave a comment, engage with the content. So whether you like the content or not, whether you agree with the content or not, let us hear from you. We want to hear from you. It's not one person doesn't have all the answers. So we want to hear from you whether you agree with the content or not. State your disagreement, and if you agree, just leave a comment. It takes nothing. All right. Thank you so much. So the last time I last video I did, I spoke about the, uh, the comments made by some people in INDECOM, and of course, the for those of you who are in the diaspora and are not fully aware of the acronym INDECOM, this is an agency in our native Jamaica that the acronym is the Independent um, Department of Investigation. That's a new. It's not a new agency. It's been around for about 14 years now. It came into existence under the former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, with the acquiescence of the Prime Minister, the PMP. So the two parties came together to do this. Of course, this came together, admittedly, after people, the outcry from the country, from people in the country, and excuse me, and from known anti-police agitators who wanted to see the police held back from the criminal gangs, marauding gangs in our country. So that agency came into existence. Now, of course, the agency was tasked with, oh, a matter of fact, it was from the beginning of it, I had stated that yes, the police needed oversight, and there was oversight, and in fact, the oversight that was there was even more effective than this INDECOM now, and of course, this is partially funded by Canada. We were told it's a huge budget and had many and most of the amenities that the Jamaica Constabulary Force did not have under the previous government. Now the JLP has been in power now for since 2016, so that's 8 years. And of course, there have been changes made in terms of staffing, in terms of equipping, and in terms of training the members of Jamaica Constabulary Force. Of course, one of the biggest things affecting the Jamaica Constabulary Force today is the fact that the force does not have the full backing of the political directorate. And so the officers are timid to do their jobs because they're afraid. The agency INDECOM that's tasked with overseeing investigation, they ride roughshod over the police. They are able to go in and investigate, disarm, take police officers' guns and leave them unharmed. So it's a whole. They fought in the court under its previous commissioner to be able to file to prosecute police officers. So he was a neophyte agency at the time under the then commissioner, a guy named Terrence Williams, a small egomaniac who who wanted to do the investigation and prosecute its own cases. Now, for those of you who live in the United States or wherever you live, you know that yes, there are police oversight agencies. Whether we're talking about the United States, with the United States has almost 18,000 law enforcement uh, um, agencies. Um, if you live in the UK, you know there are many, many police agencies, but none of those agencies are able to hamper or interfere in the work of the police. The police are able to do their jobs unequivocally. So one of the things that they haven't learned when they created this agency was that the agency should not tread on the police, but do what they're asked to do what they're mandated to do, and stay out of the way of the police. Now, the INDECOM has never managed or were able to do that. The then Commissioner Terrence Williams he aligned himself with anti-police groups and issued public statements along with those groups against the police. And while he was the one tasked with investigating alleged abuse by the security forces, it made no sense. And so we this your loyal servant here. I have written numerous articles complaining and pointing out the fact that this agency was first of all, the way it was constructed. It was uh, not thought out properly, because some of the powers given to the agency they shouldn't have. First of all, the agency wanted to investigate every shooting as if it was a criminal act, and then they wanted to prosecute police officers. Now, they were able to do that for a while until that was struck down by the courts. Now, the reality is there is no investigative agency that we know of, and I stand to be corrected. So if you know any investigative agency that is able to investigate and prosecute its own cases, you let me know. I would be happy to hear about it in the comment section below. I I do not know of any. On the other hand, even in the United States, the FBI investigates. The FBI is the top law enforcement agency in the United States. The FBI is able to investigate, but it cannot. It has no mandate to prosecute its own cases. The Department of Justice does that. All the different um, uh, offices across the country do that. Um, so uh, local police prosecute cases, investigate cases. They hand them over to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors do that. But of course, Torrance Williams he had a vengeance and a vendetta against the police, so he wanted to investigate and prosecute, which was, by all extents and purposes, some of what he had done had to be reversed. So they weren't prosecutions, they were persecutions. The government hasn't learned anything, and one of the things that the government has not learned is that when the police are timid to do their job because they're afraid of being caught up in the criminal justice system, the criminals are fully aware of this, and this significantly affects the rule of law in our country. No country allows any other country to tell them what to do. And the INDECOM, funded in part by Canada, and I don't know where else they get their funds from, they're funded by Canada and other dark money. We don't know, but they're heavily funded. Now that would not happen in any other country. We have other countries in the Caribbean like Trinidad and Tobago republics. They would not allow that to happen in their country. Only in Jamaica these things happen. All right, only in Jamaica these things happen. And I spoke out against the fact that uh, the INDECOM issued a statement talking about fatal shootings at the beginning of the year. Now, let me be clear, and as I said in that video, you could access that video and see for yourself. As I said in that video, it is the mandate of INDECOM to investigate police shootings. If there is anything wrong, to make sure that everything is on the up and up, fine. Do what you're mandated to do. But if you're mandated to do that, which they are, and you don't find anything wrong with each shooting that you investigate, you're not there to make statements. Why are you issuing statements about fatal shooting and asking the commissioner of police to ask the police officers to be careful about fatal shooting, as if every fatal shooting that police engage in is a continuous event? Now, this is where a bunch of ignoramuses who are on the public dole like crustaceans in the ocean. scraping at the bottom are impacting our country's future. And I've said it before. The prime minister is in charge of the country. He has a responsibility to put all of that shit in check. And I make no apologies for saying that. He has a duty to put that shit in check. The country is literally overrun by criminal gangs. And this has to stop. It has to stop. You cannot have an agency that is tasked with looking out for all of these so-called instances of police abuse, issuing their own statement on without any proof. It's sorry for that little bit of mix up there, but yes. So you cannot have an agency that is supposed to investigate allegations of police misconduct, not doing what it's mandated to do, but issuing statements along with other agents, other anti-police groups about police fatal shooting when it is their job to investigate if there are improprieties happening in each individual shooting. But this is what these nincompoops at INDECOM are doing. And they can't see the irony in the stupidity of what they're doing. They're the ones tasked with investigating. But instead of investigating and finding proof of what they're alleging, they're issuing statements about police fatal shooting. Now, this kind of abject stupidity I've never seen in my life. And so amid the idle chatter by mouthpieces at INDECOM about police fatal shooting, gangland communities continue to try to turn our country into another iteration of a lawless Haiti. On Wednesday morning, a 10 standoff erupted in Edersville, Penn, also known as a capture land in Spanish Town. The irony. In the early morning, police operation targeted men wanted by the police. Residents were angry by the operation. Reportedly attacked members of the security force with stones and bottles, forcing them to fire warning shots in the air. Now, what a waste of bullets. The protesters escalated tensions by blocking roads leading into the community and slashing the tires of the police vehicles. Yeah, this is Haiti. Hampering the mobility of law enforcement officers. Sporadic gunfire has been reported as police and military personnel work to regain control of the volatile area. The operation, reportedly carried out by the Fugitive Apprehension Squad, failed to capture its intended target, who managed to escape amid the chaos, as reported by one local publication. Now, this is not a new phenomenon in our country. This usually happens with the media acting as willing cheerleaders to the anarchy in the depressed communities across the country, where bleach-out skinned, emaciated-looking thugs hold sway under the power of the gun. In these communities, many residents who benefit from the chopping, the extortion, murder, and robberies are willing to put their lives on the line to defend the bleach-out skinned monsters who rule like kings in the rusty zinc fence fiefdoms of despair and degradation. Adding to the mayhem are the many groups of sympathizers pretending to be human rights organizations. Their propaganda campaign rivals Hitler's gold bills in effectiveness. Worse yet are the taxpayer-funded ones at INDECOM, an agency formed to offer police oversight, which off the bat morphed into an ineffective parasite on law-abiding taxpayers and another accessory to the nation's crime epidemic. Was this the first time this kind of thing happened in these communities that should be bulldozed for all intents and purposes? No. And it will not be the last. One fact remains constant, and that is the silence by the fraudulent criminal supporting propagandists that give aid and comfort to the anarchists, including the leeches living off the taxpayers at INDECOM. It is very difficult to find another country where a government agency ignores its job and spends time criticizing another agency. The present government allows this to happen, and the opposition PMP that craves power is worse. Among its ranks are people worse than those slashing the tires and attacking the police. How does this kind of unchecked lawlessness work with the lofty goals of the government to propel the country into developed nation status through what it calls Vision 2030, which aims to achieve developed country status by the year 2030 through a comprehensive national development plan focused on improving the economic, social cohesion and environmental sustainability, essentially positioning Jamaica as a place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. A few roadways built by the Chinese do not a developed country make. Amidst rotting, crumbling social structure, if the nation is to ever remotely begin that upward path, it must entangle itself from the cheap, parochial, partisan politics that has suffocated the progress we deserve just so that low-life politicians can attain power. This madness has to stop. But the law allows it to happen. As I spoke to you earlier about, they attacked the police from a place called Capture Land. Capture Land. And the irony of this is the law in Jamaica allows any thief, because that's what they are, who sees a piece of land that seems to be, nobody is paying attention to that land. They can go and put up a structure on that land. And if they're there for a certain amount of years, a few years, they now can claim that the land belongs to them and the law will give them that land. It's called squatters' rights. It is a law that literally encourages people to break the law and to capture people's property. And here's the irony. Here's the irony in all of this. The property taxes are so marginal that it is hard to make the case that the government wants these lands to be taxes from these lands. Because what most people don't pay property taxes in Jamaica. So it's not that. And I think this law came out of the Manley regime where they were taking people's land and allowing people to take people's land. That's where that's coming from. They're not farming the land. They're putting up shacks, and those communities become zinc fence communities, havens for criminality. And from those havens, we get the kind of criminality we have in Jamaica that a lot of us would like to turn our eyes on and turn our back from. And even the police is partially complicit in it, because they keep talking about crime trending down. Where are the initiatives? And as I said in the earlier video, I don't see any initiatives that is you don't even see police on the street much. And when you drive on the highways and the byways, you see them standing outside their car. How effective is that? While the cars are zipping by them at 80, 90 miles an hour, they don't care. And the argument could easily be made that they don't care because they don't have the backing of the government. They don't have the backing of the opposition party. Because many in the political sphere are criminals themselves. Criminals themselves. We'll talk some more.